A lot of people call me SMADE, CEO and founder of SMADE Entertainment Group. And I'm also the co-founder of Afro Nation. It started from Lagos. My second visit to the UK, I already had it set in my mind that I was coming here to stay. I'll probably be the last person you'll see in the room. I knew what I wanted for myself. Co-founding Afro Nation has been one of the biggest gifts for our culture. And I'm going to serve with my power. I'm being called king because I serve so much. And I've been serving since I was a little boy. You still see me serving. I still have my day ones. I put people on. I've been doing this for almost 18, 19 years since I moved to the UK. And I was 19 then. You have to gain wisdom from the new ones. You have to be able to adapt to change because there's a 5-year change in the industry. There's always something new coming up. So you have to be prepared for change. I had to literally go to people's doors and deliver tickets and deliver physical tickets. When I am right, no one remembers. When I am wrong, no one forgets. My advice to everyone that wants to be a promoter is my name is Adesegun Adeosun Jr. A lot of people call me SMADE. Some people call me King SMADE because I serve a lot. CEO and founder of SMADE Entertainment Group. And I'm also the co-founder of Afro Nation. I'm the founder of King SMADE Beard Oil. I've got other businesses like the parties, the shisha, dabble into a lot of different things, real estate. Well, my main focus is entertainment and bringing joy to the world. It started from Lagos, Nigeria, where I was born in 1984. Grateful to be born to great parents that laid the right foundations for me to make me the man I am today. As a cultural, traditional African man that held on to my identity regardless of wherever I go to. Started from Lagos. I was born in Oshodi, Solo local government. To very comfortable parents. They showed me love. They showed me everything that I've learned today. The foundations and learning from my father, going back home to the village, made me fall in love with festivals, with music, watching all those masquerade festivals back as a young 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy. So I was the only son for a long time. I'm the first son of 13 children. So being in that space also gave me leadership, strong leadership skills, and a lot of responsibilities were on my shoulders from a family of 13. At the age of 18, going on 19 now, came to the UK for the first time to visit. And my second visit to the UK, I already had it set in my mind that I was coming here to stay, even if I had to go against my father's wishes, because at the time, father was doing very well. He wanted me to take over his business in Nigeria, and I wanted to find myself. I was inspired by coming to America, Prince Hakeem. I just wanted to find my own self. And as God would have it, he had a plan for me too. So coming to the UK at a very young age, not having the support of my mom, my dad, or anybody, just me on my own, I decided to change the word SMADE that was already my nickname to self-made. From reading my father's journey and story to wanting to be a better man myself. SMADE was our initials, a brand my father created, in 1984, the year I was born actually. He was into import and exports. Now, for me to now come to the UK, be a nickname it's made, and now turn that nickname to business certainly means for me everyone can be self-made as long as you're willing to do what it takes to grow, to set yourself up. I moved to the UK in 2004, and I moved knowing and prepared myself for what I was going to face or what I was about to face, which was everything I've been hearing from going to work early in the morning, cleaning jobs and all of that stuff that people that already had hair have been hair curling in my ears. So I came prepared. So some days I have 4 jobs in a day and I still have to go to college. So I self-enrolled myself, self-funded my education, got myself into University of the Arts, London, studying marketing and advertising. And I later on furthered my education and did my master's MBA. But at the beginning, I had to do like cleaning jobs, worked in the post office, worked in stadiums, did a lot of, bar jobs, bartending, kitchen porter, hotel porter. I did all those things, growing up and with pride, knowing that I was working towards something, and using that to support myself without having to call anybody for help. So I built my way. I did a lot of retail jobs as well, which gave me, the sense of dressing, with what I've also learned from my father, growing up, and my mother. I was picking up a lot of things on the way to getting to where I am right now. I was learning, every opportunity to learn. So I put myself down to learn entertainment from everybody I could learn it from when I got here, and I felt like there wasn't a lot of Afrobeat music being played in, anywhere, in the clubs, in every restaurant. So I just wanted to change that narrative. And early days, it wasn't really cool to be African. I was racially abused once, and I looked up to God and said, please use me to change all of this. So I started doing house parties. From house parties, it got so big, moved it to the clubs. For someone who was very shy, who was an introvert, who wasn't really out there, my parties were doing very well. The house parties were so big, moved to the clubs. And from the clubs, we started doing concerts. From the concerts, we started doing tours around the UK. And then from the tours, we're now doing different other things plus festivals. So it's just grown and built over the years. And all of these times, I was building relationships. I was very disciplined with myself, with everything I wanted. I'm not perfect, so yeah, I still make mistakes, but I was using that to learn and get better. I was doing a lot of partnerships. I'll probably be the last person you'll see in the room then, but I was planning and like I knew what I wanted for myself. I wasn't good with presentations. I wasn't good at talking. I barely could even do those interviews back in the days, but these are things that along the line I had to like pick up and learn from everybody I worked with, from Adesegun, who is my host, from Adesegun, who is also my host. Adesegun was my host for my wedding 7 years ago. So that shows you the relationship. I build relationships with people and I carry them along at all times and use it to expose, the industry. Co-founding Afro Nation has been one of the biggest gifts for our culture, biggest gift for Afrobeat, and as we continue to take this around the world, we want to use this to unite and build a community. This is what I've been able to achieve with SMADE Lounge, with my parties, with the concerts. Bringing people together, collaborations, spreading the gospel of Afrobeats. And the story, how we started pushing this. At the start, it was like, walking against the grain, but now it looks like everybody now sees the beauty of Afrobeats, and everybody's now interested in being a part of it. So as people are opening up and waking up to it, we just have to continue to accept them and teach them and let them know what the culture is all about. Good vibes, good music, great artists, in all our amazing artists. The beauty of fashion, the beauty of food. We have amazing food. We have our food wars going on. We have culture, we have community, and we, most importantly, charity, how we love to love ourselves, how we can get better, how we can empower ourselves. There's different angles, to all of these things that we represent. I was a different child to what I am right now. I was a very shy boy. I was very shy. I was very reserved. I never used to talk. The child in me was very creative. I was always drawing. I was always to myself. I was doing one thing though that I've never stopped doing. I was 7. When you come into the house, I'll be the first to offer you water. Those things built me up to become who I am. I was happy to help. I was happy to serve. I was happy to share, and I was happy to work with other people. And those are the things that really stuck to me and stuck with me all throughout to become me. It's inbuilt to work every day now for me. I just have to get something done. And no matter what I say that I don't want to work, I end up working. No matter how much you say you're going to relax or you're going to stop or you're going to take a break, you end up even working more. You just find yourself in a different space, of creativity. Sometimes you're practically creating, sometimes you're creating a mindset, you're drawing your dreams and you're creating something in your mind. We also need that for inspiration, for motivation. We need to isolate sometimes. We need to take ourselves away from everything and reflect. I love to do that. I love to be busy. I love to work. So no matter what space I am in, either I'm at home, my family, I'm getting inspired by those gifts. Either I'm at my work with my staff, so my colleagues, I'm getting inspired and motivated by them. So always, at all times, I'm always working. At all times, I'm always building. I'm always reflecting. I'm always learning and trying to get better, from my mistakes, from my successes, from every corner and every aspect of life. And I'm always very happy to listen to criticisms, for people to tell me what I'm doing wrong and all that. So I'm not perfect, like I said. So all these things have helped me to better myself, to, either from learning from mistakes made from the previous concerts, to get better at the next one, and to get better at the next festival. Those are the kind of things I've picked myself up to do from a very long time. 5 days that I use every day is dream, drive, determination, discipline, and delivery. Everybody has a gift. You just have to identify your gift, be open-minded, have dreams, create dreams in your head. Everybody in this life, we are all blessed. And when you understand the blessing in you, you'll be able to serve with that blessing and then monetize that blessing and then be great with that blessing. And that's how God can bless you with more. So when you serve with your gift, understand your gift, that's your dream. You're working towards something. And then to drive that dream, which is the second one down, D. The second, I call them the 5 Ds, by the way. So the second D is to find the condiments, every single thing that you need to keep that dream alive, to make that dream visualize, to actually play out in your life. The drive, it will help you pick up the condiments, education on the streets, education academically, education with hanging out with the right people, education with learning from young people, because you have to be ready to adapt. All of these condiments are the drive, and that's what drives you. Also to work hard, work smart, all of those things will help you drive your dream. The third one now is determination. You're going to have to be determined against all odds, against everything that happens to you in life. You have to be determined. Determination is key. You're going to have competition. You're going to have a lot of hate. You're going to have a lot of... Life itself is a roller coaster. You're going to have a lot of stumbling blocks. You're going to see a lot of things that would affect your business, that would not make you want to, get to that dream. You just have to determine. Continue to stay prayed up. So continue to be, to work hard and stay focused. The fourth one now is discipline. Discipline is something that every man and woman should have in their life. Know your poison. Know what's good for you. Know your strengths. Know your weaknesses. Know what makes you happy. Know what gravitates you to happiness. What's not good for you. Be disciplined to be in the right space, among the right people, to learn to pick up the right things on your way to achieving those dreams. The last one is delivery. You must deliver. Once you deliver, you'll be blessed with more. You can double up. Your dedication can set in. So there's more extra Ds you can add to these 5 Ds. But these are the Ds that I have picked up to nurture my own life, and I still use every single day of my life. So at every time when I feel like, the whole world is turning against me, I use this D. Remember who I am. Remember what I'm doing, Remember my dream, and remember my name. And these are the things that help me to gather myself to get into my superpowers, to know that I have a power, and I'm going to influence with my power, and I'm going to serve with my power, and I'm going to help the world with my power. Those are the kind of things that I think about when I'm down, and it helps me all the time. So, and, like, you know, the world is yours once you know what you want for yourself and in life, and you know how to navigate it, you know how to serve, you identify your gift. I'm being called king because I serve so much, and I've been serving since I was a little boy. And now at this stage, you still see me serving. First of all, you gotta enjoy what you're doing, understand your passion, why you're doing what you're doing. You have to be prayed up, you have to have things that make you keep going, things that make you continue doing what you're doing, and yes, there's so many things. Read books, read about people that inspire you, read about mentors that you feel like these are the people that grab, like you love to read about, or you're interested in them. Read about their stories, read about their autobiographies. Their mistakes will shape you, and their strengths will help you hang on to staying focused. So you can learn from other people's mistakes. I've learned from my father's mistakes. I've learned from my mother's mistakes. I've learned from people around me. And I've always used that to better myself. I've also read books. The first book I read in my life was Losing My Virginity by Sir Richard Branson. And this has also helped me to shape my life, to shape where I'm going to see how to create multiple brands, with a brand name. So like those kind of things also help. I've read about leaders like Barack Obama, read about leaders about Nelson Mandela, and those are things that nurture me to becoming even responsible enough, not for only Nigeria, but for all the 54 African countries, to influence Africans in diaspora and Africans in Africa. These are the kind of things that, help me and nurture me and guide me, and I use to, better myself. When you start off with a vision, so having a team can be very, very bad because not everybody understands the vision and people have different opinions. So you're going to have people tell you different things. But having your own self-belief and self-motivation would actually help you to, navigate how you need to go or where you need to go. Because a team will bring the best out of you. As a visionary, sometimes the team is not in your space. You just have to know how to manage your team, who is good at what, and be able to position them in the right places for you and your dream to be, visualized. Yeah, so it's taught me so much, everything. It's taught me everything about myself. Like it's made me even able to believe more, that patience is key. You just have to keep going. At most times in different businesses, I've been in, I just find out that you just have to be resilient. You have to be focused. You have to, know why you're doing what you're doing. You just have to. So it's now I used to be very shy. Now I'm not as shy as I was when I was a kid. Being an entrepreneur and being the face of so many brands and so many businesses has helped me, to furnish that act of boldness, for me to be able to step into any room. And these are the things that helps you as an entrepreneur. Leadership skills, responsibilities, to the next level, and to also carry not just myself but the whole world along. Being entrepreneur, being selfless, being because I put my life to Afrobeats and to everything I do. So I think it's when you look back, it's very, very painful. When you look back at what you've been through, you just have to enjoy the pain, enjoy the love, know that this too shall pass, and the world is your oyster. So first moment of wonder would Davido 2018 show at the O2 Brixton. Amazing show. It ended up being changed the whole face of the music industry. O2 Brixton was electric that night in terms of how people, the reception and all that was really good. I got some clips from that, and that changed, the face of Afrobeat. So that one for me is unforgettable. And a very, very unforgettable moment because it was still at the time when there was a lot of, negativity, a lot of beef going on around. The game changed. Everybody now took it more seriously. Another time would have been getting so much hate from announcing Afro Nation and also during the pandemic. And at both times, the comeback has always been bigger, to see how much people still pull up. So it's just to tell you that there's more people loving than hating, to be honest. There's still more people that will pull up for you than, people that are trying to bring you down. So continue to believe. Afro Nation was co-founder and myself, Obi Asika, who is also like an entrepreneur and a visionary where this is all going as well. Afro Nation was created to give platforms to our superstars, to celebrate our culture, to celebrate African music, African fashion, food, to unite the world. It's beyond music. Afro Nation is a movement. We're building a global community now. Like we've got people buying tickets from over 140 countries around the world, which is grown ever since the first Afro Nation. We started with like a community of 20,000 plus. Now we're over 40,000 plus from the last Portugal event. Now we're like, going to Detroit next month, and then we got Lagos in December. So it's looking really, really busy for us as the community grows, and it's just it's a blessing, to see that it's also placing our act in a global place, in a global positioning, basically, and the acts are now becoming even more professional. Burna Boy is one of the biggest performers that we have in the world right now, and he's selling out multiple stadiums around the world, and Wizkid is also selling out, arenas and stadiums. Davido is also selling out tours back to back, Tiwa Savage, Ayastar, Thames, all our acts are doing amazing stuff. Like Rema is in India, touring around India, touring around Asia, and there's still more acts, popping up every single day from Ghana. Black Sheriff is also doing amazing stuff. King Promise is also on tour, you know. Yemi Alade, there's so many of them. There's so many acts that are making us proud that we need to showcase that. And that's what Afro Nation has done, and it's just what it's doing in the live music space, which is something that Afrobeat is also needed for a long time, and since the live music has kicked in and a lot of other festivals has also popped up, amapiano is also doing amazing stuff, so like there's so much that is doing to the African culture and African community and merging, and uniting the world right now. So it's beyond the music. My advice to everyone that wants to be a promoter is to always remember your position is just a leverage to what you can become. You think about networking, think about meeting people, think about, making people happy, think about business, think about brands, think about partnership. You know, I've been doing this for almost 18, 19 years since I moved to the UK, and I was 19 then. So I've built contact, built relationships, built partnerships. I still have my day ones. I've put people on. I've had my fair share of service. I've served a lot of people before me in the business. I've had my fair share of pain. I've had my fair share of, my story is a beautiful story that I'm thankful for today. For everyone that wants to be a promoter, I would love you to learn more about the industry. And, aside from academical knowledge, you have to gain wisdom from the new ones. You have to be able to adapt to change because there's a 5 year change in the industry. There's always something new coming up. So you have to be prepared for change and be willing to adapt. Be willing to learn, be willing to teach, and be willing to serve. We all have a gift. You have to know what your gift is. Because Burna Boy is good at this doesn't mean you're just going to follow Burna Boy. There's also something you're good at. Some people are good at holding the cameras, at editing, at dancing, at fashion, at cooking. There's so much gift that we all have in us. You just have to know which one is yours and pursue it, serve it, and monetize it. The future of Afrobeats, basically, because been in this journey for a long time, for almost 19 years of, you know, consistently pushing Afrobeats, forcing it into the market, despite the amount of times that doors were shut on us, or the times when there was no social media, there was no, Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat. There was not even ticketing platforms. I had to like literally go to people's doors and deliver tickets and deliver physical tickets, to people. And it's just been the process, it's been the journey to see where we are right now. It's a blessing, and I just want to thank every soldier behind, this movement. I might be the face of it, but there's so many people out there that they put their mortgage on the line for this, that they put their families on the line, their homes are broken to this, just because of trying to, build something called Afrobeat and a legacy for all of us. So we are doing what we can. We're trying our best. I've been inspired by a lot of people, Kenny and D1 from Lagos, all the King Sonia days, all the, Obeys, all the Yinka Efeles, all the Fela Nicolako Kutis. I've been inspired by the such Shino Peters, who from history have been selling out O2 Brixton since 1980 with Afro Juju music. So before Afrobeats, there was also Afro Juju. So like there's a future to Afrobeats that, you know, we have plans to invest in, as we grow. I've got kids that are now also interested in Afrobeats, that are also big fans of Whiskey, Davido, Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage, Highstar. Like, there's so much culture. Culture is winning right now. So the future is bright. Our fashion is being, noticed and used around the world. If you look at music videos now, there's an element of African and culture in every music video, in every Nollywood movie. There's a placement for Africa. There's a placement for Afrobeat. So the culture is winning. So we're in a very good place right now. And as our music is so sweet. There's no violence. There's no, and our festivals are getting bigger. We're building a more diversified community. So there's a huge future in what we are doing. And as Afro Nation and as all the festivals also continue to grow, the community grows. As our artists continue to get better and there's more collaborations around the world continues to focus on what we are doing. So there's a huge future in Afrobeats. There's a huge future in everything that everyone is doing right now. And the culture, like I said earlier, is winning. So growing up, my father used to have something on his wall in front of his office door, and he read, "Such is life. Men's evil deeds are written on the brass. When I am right, no one remembers. When I am wrong, no one forgets." And then there's still extras to the quote, but that quote I lived by for all my life. So I was prepared for hate, and I was ready to, sacrifice and still spread love regardless of hate that I might find around me. And I prepared for it. So and as the quote says, such is life. That is life. That when you are right, when you're doing great things, no one remembers you. But when you do make a mistake, it rules out all the great things you have ever done. That is life. So understanding that fact and applying that to so many angles and areas of life, and be prepared, and continue to love regardless. How do I want to be remembered by the people I served? As their servant and their king. That's how I want to be remembered. I've never ever thought about that. But I know I'm building a legacy for Africa. I know I'm changing the world with my gift, my talent, with the love in me, through my events, through Afrobeats. I'm bringing the world and uniting the world. I've never ever thought about that, to be honest, but I know I'm building a legacy for the world, for Africa. Go on Google right now on your search engine and type African King. So maybe I want to be remembered as an African. Or maybe I want to be the Mansa Musa. Maybe I want to be the Barack Obama of Africa. Maybe I want to be the Nelson Mandela. Maybe I want to be my father. Maybe I want to be my son. Maybe I want to be me. Maybe I want to bless the world. Maybe I want to serve the world. So, there's so many ways you can describe who I am. Aside from being the African king, I think I'm a culture king. I am someone who knows who I am, who researched who I am. I researched my father. I researched my grandfather, my great-grandfather. I know who they are. I know what they stood for. I know what the gifts were. I know their strengths. I know their weaknesses. I know their generational curses. And I know their generational wealth. And I build on those things. So these are things I would advise people to go find out. Go back to your village. Go back to, connect with your ancestors. Pray. Get closer to your parents, your family. Know your journey. Know your story. Know your bloodline. Know your DNA. Whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. And connect with your family. Family is everything. And together we move. Danny Wonders, you do wonders. Yes, aka the African King, aka the Culture King, aka King SMADE. We've been doing this for time, and this is just the beginning.